Sorry. I got messed up at the office.
Well, you haven't forgotten about the party tonight at the TV studio, have you?
You kidding? I've been looking forward to it all day.
So have I. I've put your tuxedo out for you.
Great. You want to help me get into it?
Oh, do we have time?
We work fast.
Oh, but what fun is that? Besides, we're expecting Sean any minute.
Well, if the doorbell rings, we'll just ignore it.
Well, what do you think? I tell you what, I'll help you get out of your tuxedo later on this evening.
It's a deal.
Good evening. Oh, not ready yet, eh?
No, well, I got to go up and fight the silverfish in my tuxedo.
Running a bit behind schedule. What have you two been up to?
Oh, nothing nearly as interesting as you might imagine.
I just got in. But I tell you right now, I am looking forward to getting away from police routine for just one bloody evening. Excuse me.
There. If you were any more handsome, I wouldn't let you out of my sight all evening for fear some starlet would steal you away from me.
If one does, I have a shoulder you can cry on.
No blubbering this evening. There will be no phone calls. There will be no police meetings. There will be no emergencies. There will just be lots of dancing, carousing, and us enjoying ourselves.
Oh, we've had our share of that, haven't we?
Yeah.
To the good time.
Yes.
Past, present,
And
future.
Cheers.
Long may they continue.
I would like to propose a toast.
Oh?
That the only things we talk about this evening are things that all three of us have in common. Just for once, I don't want to be the odd woman out.
Fair enough.
I promise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, musketeers, shall all three sally forth?
Yes.
Okay, and listen. This party turns out to be a bummer. We're going to split and hit the town. This evening, I shall tolerate no boredom, all right?
No boredom.
There's one night in my life that I want to get right away from police business.
Sounds good to
Right.
me.
Sounds excellent to me.
Madam.
Thank you.
Sir. You're welcome. The limo out there.
Commissioner. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you very much.
Robert, how you doing? Mike? Good to see you. Congratulations, Barrington. Sounds to me like you pulled off a real coup here.
Well, the coup was getting Ginny in Frisco. The rest of it's easy.
Like the phoenix rise after it dies.
Now, what the hell is going on? I can't leave you alone for a minute.
DL, please.
Don't please me. I'm tired of you running after him. I'm just tired of it.
I am doing nothing but dancing with you.
DL, that's it. You keep out of this weather. If you were half a man, you'd look after your own wife and not go sniffing after mine.
Honey, you all right?
No, she's not all right. Now I'm the one that's going to take care of it. I'm going to straighten her out. You understand?
Daddy, just stop.
You be quiet.
DL, I am warning you. I am not going to take much more of this
You're
from
going to
you.
take exactly what I hand out. Just keep your mouth shut. You understand me? I'm going to teach you a lesson once and for all. No woman runs out of me.
I have had it with you.
You don't want to run on me.
I don't want to see you again. I'll go with you.
You can stay at my place.
Well, you're satisfied now, huh? You ruined my marriage. You're satisfied? Why don't you go run after her?
Let's go,
That's what
bro.
you want to do, isn't it? Let's go. Who are you? Let's go. What are you going to do?
We can do this the easy way or the hard way. Either your place or the slam. I don't care.
You can't arrest me.
What's the charge? Disturbing the peace of the starters, then I'll get a lot more creative. Get him out of here. Follow, sir.
It's all right. It's all right. Terry and Bobby are going to spend the night at Ruby's. Scorpio's men are escorting Bronco home. Dance with me.
Honey, in a while, I have to go talk to the syndicated syndication of the shows.
Rick, I wouldn't have blamed you if you'd punched him out.
Ruby, I would like to, but it would just make it worse for Ginny, for everybody. This way it's over. We've had our excitement for the night, right?
Yeah.
Treat you.
Thank you, I could use it.
He's better, I assure you.
He's great. We'll make you two look like hardly any geniuses.
Well, I took him to the patrol car. As far as I know, my men left him on his doorstep.
seems wrong to me.
I guess it's just nerves, Holly. That's sort of a big night for me.
Yes, I can imagine. What you need is a glass of wine. It'll warm you up and it'll calm your nerves.
You're absolutely right. Thank you.
You're absolutely right, ma'am. Very good.
Any more questions? We'll take two more.
There's phone calls. Take it over there on the
Well, I think that is an answer. How about another question?
Frisco Jones, a few questions.
Scorpio.
Frisco, okay? Let's hear it.
How are you, Bobby? You and Terry get home all right? Good.
What was bugging Brock anyway?
You what? Thanks for the fireman. Are you all right?
There's no chance of that. No, we'll be...
Okay.
A lot of our clubs.
Just listen to it. Oh, I shall bring a doctor over for you and Terry. In the meantime, you sit tight, you touch nothing. I'll be right there. The girl.
Alan, I'm going to need your help.
What's up?
Got a corpse on there. Well, listen, I'm sorry to drag you out of here.
It's all right. I'll do anything I can. Come on, let's go.
There's no chance of that. No, we'll be...
He's got a good reason, unfortunately.
What's wrong?
Listen, Corporate Ramsey had him send a homicide crew over to Brock's penthouse.
Homicide? Brock's penthouse? What happened?
Brock's dead.
What?
He's been shot.
Where's Bobby?
She's at the penthouse.
Is she all right?
Yeah, well, she called me on the phone. I don't know how Brock wound up dead. Yeah, well, she sounded pretty shaken. Alan and I heading over there right away.
I want to go with you.
Yeah, I was about to suggest that. She's going to need your help.
Anything I can do?
Yeah. You better tell Holly what happened. She's also going to need a lift home. I'm going to be tied up for quite a while.
Of course.
But don't tell everyone just yet, all right? Let them have a good time. Opportunities to deal with this. Let's get going.
I'm ready.
Has anybody seen Alan? He left the Scorpio.
Where did they go to?
No idea.
I haven't seen her some time.
No, looks like I've been deserted. Does anybody notice her husband have a way of disappearing when the dancing starts?
Well, could I come to the rescue? I mean, I'm not her husband, but I love to dance.
If you'll excuse us, Derek, Holly promised me this dance.
My guess.
Thank you anyway.
Okay. Take your time. Anything you tell me is going to be important.
I'm still hazy about the details.
Concentrate, love. Can you tell me exactly what happened?
It started out as just another fight.
What about?
I don't even know. We've had so many, I keep giving him another chance, and he keeps... I don't suppose he's going to get any more chances, is he?
Go on.
Well, we were having this fight, and he knocked me out. And when I woke up, the room was all fuzzy. I couldn't focus on anything. And the first thing that I saw was the gun.
Where was it?
It was over there on the floor. So I picked it up. And then I saw DL lying there, and I'd just gone over to him, and then Terry came in.
You didn't see or hear anyone else?
Just Terry.
It's all right. It's over now.
What the usual? You guys over there. Robert? Anything?
Not yet. But you tell me what you find.
Yeah, I got the boys working. All right, fellas.
How's she doing?
She's doing better. She's suffering from mild shock. The sight of her father's body really unnerved her.
Sure. Can I ask her a few questions?
You can, but go easy with her. She's really shaky, Robert.
Terry. I'm sorry about your father. I know this isn't a great time to be having a chat, but I've got to talk to you. Can you tell me what happened here tonight?
I'll try. Bobby was fighting with my daddy.
Physically fighting or just arguing?
I just heard them yelling. And she told me to go get help. And she said she could handle him.
What did you do?
I left. I went to the elevator, and it was stuck on the 6th floor. So I went down the stairwell.
Did you see or hear anyone? I mean, anyone at all? Well, what happened after you got downstairs?
I didn't know. I couldn't get out.
Okay. What do you mean you couldn't get out?
Well, I was trapped in the stairwell, and all the doors were locked. And I went all the way down to the lobby, and I was banging on the door, and nobody heard me, and they wouldn't come help me. So I just came back upstairs.
Then what happened?
Well, I came to the door and called out for Bob and Daddy, and I didn't get an answer.
Did you hear anything? I mean, voices rustling?
No, it was quiet. It was quiet, so I decided to go around to the back. And when I came in, I saw Bobby kneeling over Daddy with a gun, and I couldn't stop him. He was...
Can't ask any more questions now, Robert. She's really going to have to rest. Okay.
I couldn't hear him.
Okay.
He was...
Okay. Holly, excuse me. Robert asked me to tell you he had to leave.
Why couldn't you tell me yourself?
He was in a hurry.
Where did he go?
Brock's penthouse. DL's been shot.
What?
Yeah, he's dead. I don't know.
How's Bobby?
She's apparently okay. She phoned Robert with the news.
Oh, my goodness. Was it a robbery or something?
I have no idea.
Awful.
Robert asked me not to tell anybody because he didn't want to spoil everybody's evening.
What, should we not say anything?
Well, I guess it doesn't matter very much anymore. Can I give you a lift home?
No, that's all right. I'll take it.
Fine.
If you see Bobby, give him my sympathy, will you?
Yeah, I will.
Are you guys leaving so soon? Yes, something awful. D.L. Brock's been shot and killed. It's just awful.
Hey, what?
I don't know anything more than that. That's all we know.
No, Robert's at the penthouse now.
Yeah, we have to go.
Yeah, fine.
We'll take him over to General Hospital. We've got to find out if Bobby has a concussion. I want Terry treated for hysteria and hypoglycemia.
Okay. Before you do that, I want Bobby down the station. We've got to run some paraffin tests on her right away.
Okay, that's all right, as long as she's admitted to the hospital right after that.
Couldn't they come and stay with me if they're all right?
I don't think so, Ruby, really. I want them both in the hospital overnight for observation.
Listen, I think first thing in the morning, we book them into the Port Charles Hotel. They're going to get a lot more seclusion there than they will at Kelly's.
Robert?
Yeah.
Could you do me a favor?
Name it.
Could you see that Rick is notified? I think he'd want to know.
Sure. Okay, you better get going. My man will take you. Come on, get on your walkie-talkie, have somebody go over to the Webbers and tell Rick what happened.
Okay, Robert, we'll do.
All right, gentlemen, talk to me. What do we have here?
Ramsey here. I want Officer Clancy to go over to the Weber home. Mrs. Brock has a message for Rick Weber.
Mrs. Brock is now in seclusion. She has not been formally charged, but witnesses observed a bitter fight between the Brocks at a party earlier in the evening. Police at the scene refused to comment on whether the couple's quarrel led to an outburst of violence at Mr. Brock's death, but one policeman made it clear that his death was not a suicide.
Why'd you do that?
Well, reports like that drive me crazy.
Is it true?
Whether it's true or not really isn't the point. I have been up all night working on this case, when I would have been better off back here getting a good night's sleep. If they're so big on speculating, let them go out and solve the crime themselves.
If you ask me, you don't need any more coffee. What you need is sleep.
I've got too much to do this morning.
Like what?
Well, I've got to take Bobby's formal statement, for one. I've got to go over to the hotel in a few hours.
I thought she was at the hospital.
Oh, we moved her and Terry into the hotel. Get him out of the way of the press.
Oh, they're having a field day over this. It's been all over the news.
Nothing like a tragedy, especially when it's somebody else's tragedy, to bring out the best in people.
Maybe it isn't.
What?
Well, I know it's an awful thing to say, but... I mean, everybody knows that Brock and Bobby didn't exactly have the world's best marriage.
Well, a lot of people don't, but you don't try to shoot your way out of it.
Do you think she did?
Did what?
Kill him.
I've been too busy to think about it.
Well, you talked to her. How did she seem?
Upset, both she and Terry.
Oh, it must have been horrible for Terry finding her father like that. Can't you tell me anything more about it?
Well, from what we can establish, they were having a fight, Bobby and Brock. Bobby figured she could handle it and sent Terry off to get some help.
Well, if she needed help, it must have been a real knockdown, drag-out fight.
Well, Terry got hysterical. The elevator was either broken or stuck somewhere, and so she went down the stairs to the lobby. The lobby door was locked. She then went back up to the apartment, penthouse, whatever it is, and found Bobby kneeling over Brock with a gun in hand.
Well, that doesn't sound too good.
Well, Bobby claims that Brock knocked her out. She came to, more or less, as Terry was getting back in.
So what was she doing with the gun?
We don't know. It was Brock's gun. I wasn't able to get too much out of her, really. That's why I got to talk to her this morning. See if I can get more details.
What kind of details?
The time element, for one. It's crucial. We want to know if there was anyone seen around the lobby at the time of the murder.
Poor Bobby. She's been through so much already with Brock. Now this.
Yeah.
Is Ruby with her?
Yeah. Help to move into the hotel.
Look, I've got to have a shower and try to clear my head before I sit down and talk to Bobby. Bobby? Excuse me. I'm Police Commissioner of Port Charles. Have you seen Mrs. Brock this morning?
No, sir.
You have a pass key?
Yes, sir.
Could you open this door for me, please?
There's not going to be any shooting, is there?
Nothing like that. I just want the door opened. Thank you. Bobby?
Robert,
Oh, hi, love.
how did you get in?
Well, I knocked a few times. Maid let me.
Oh. I'm sorry. I was looking in on Terry, and I guess I must have dozed off.
Why don't you have a seat?
I didn't get a chance to clean up. I must look a wreck.
You look fine. You eating?
Ruby came by with some food, but I couldn't touch it.
Look, are you sure you're up to giving me this statement today?
I want to get it over with.
Maybe you should have a rest.
I'm innocent, Robert, and I want people to know that.
That'll be the stenographer.
Where can I set up my machine?
Table right there. Look, you don't have to give this statement today.
I know.
You're entitled to have a lawyer present.
I have nothing to hide.
Ready?
The date is January the 23rd, 1985. My name is Robert Scorpio, Police Commissioner of Port Charles. I'm taking the statement of Mrs. Bobby Brock concerning the night of events around her husband D.L. Brock's murder. I want it noted that Mrs. Brock is giving this statement of her own volition and without counsel. All right, Bobby. Now, in your own words, tell me what happened. Everything you can remember.
It started at the party that the studio gave for Ginny Blake and Frisco Jones. We had a big fight.
And that's when you came to?
Yes.
What did you see?
I'm not really sure. Everything was hazy, shadows. I was very groggy.
Did you see Brock?
Not at first. I saw something on the floor.
What was that?
The gun. Except that I didn't know what it was at first, so I just picked it up. I reflexed guessed, and then I saw Brock.
Okay, let's take our time now.
And I tried to rouse him, but he didn't move. And that's when Terry came in.
How much time do you think lapsed between when Brock knocked you out to when you came to?
I don't know.
Terry left before you were knocked out.
Just before.
Came back a little after you came to. That's a yes. Okay, maybe Terry can help us with the time.
Oh, Robert, not today. Please. She was hysterical. I gave her a sedative.
I'll talk to her tomorrow then. Look, do you really want to go on with this?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay. All right. Is it possible Terry could have been in the room when you first came to rather than later?
Why do you ask?
Well, could she?
Well, I can't really say for sure. I was very groggy.
All right. You say you struggled over the gun with Brock.
That's right.
Then the gun went off?
Yes.
More than once?
Just once. It went into the ceiling.
Did you have your hands on the gun?
Yes, we were struggling for it. Why?
Paraffin tests show powder nitrates on your hands.
Meaning what?
Meaning that the DA could use it against you. That's why I'm trying to warn you here. Look, do you really want to do this without a lawyer present?
I didn't kill my husband.
Okay. Let's continue. Now, you say the gun went off only once into the ceiling.
That's right.
How do you account for the bullet in Brock?
I don't know how that happened.
You sure you don't remember another shot?
I am absolutely positive, I'm sure as I can be.
Do you know of any enemies your husband might have had?
Oh, come on, Robert. Everybody knows that Brock wasn't exactly the most popular man in town.
Anyone specifically?
No.
Any threats made in his life recently?
Not that I know of.
Okay. That'll be all. Could you have this typed up for me, please? We'll get your signature on it as some other time. You look tired.
Yeah, I am.
You've been very cooperative. I'll have that
Noted in the report.
I have nothing to hide. And I want my name cleared as soon as possible so that you can find my husband's murderer.
We will.
You might think I'm crazy for saying this. But even with all of our difficulties, he was my husband. I didn't kill him. And I want whoever did to pay.
Men went over everything?
Oh, gosh, you bet everything. Walls, furniture, ceiling, books. We still can't find any trace of that third slug fired from Brock's gun.
Well, it's got to be there somewhere, and the gun was fired 3 times.
That's right. One on the ceiling and one, unfortunately, into Brock, but that only accounts for 2 of them.
Maybe it's in the killer.
It's a possibility.
Oh, let's look at it. They struggled. Gun went off. Into the killer. He got the gun back, or she got the gun back, and shot Brock.
Well, why don't I have the lab boys go over those blood samples again and see if any of it is a type other than Brock's?
No, I know I need to be telling you this, but put the word out. Hospitals, doctors, on the lookout. Anybody that walks in with a bullet in them.
Look, you know I've already done that, Robert.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Jurgens, come on in. Find anything over in Brock's office?
Just this envelope. I think it's of interest to you, Commissioner.
Thanks, Jurgens. You can take off. What is it, Robert?
It's the beginning of some sort of a note, but only my name's pasted in.
Hey, let me see that. These letters look like they were cut out of a magazine.
There are more letters in the envelope.
You think Brock may have started this?
Came from his office.
Yeah, but come on, that's strange. Why would Brock send you a letter like this?
Good question. Now, assuming all the letters are in here that Brock wanted to send me, maybe we can figure out what he was trying to say.
Well, we can try to put the letters together and make some words out of them.
Yeah. Maybe a sentence or 2.
It's like, what do you call them, an anagram.
Yes, but hopefully this one will lead us to the guilty party. Too many interruptions.
Did you see Bobby?
Yep. Got his statement.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, under the circumstances, she was most impressive.
In what way?
Cooperative, sure of her innocence, wants to see the guilty party brought to justice.
Do you think she's innocent?
Too soon to tell.
I suppose it's pointless, my asking if I could help.
As a matter of fact, I may just have a use for your nimble, analytical mind.
Flattery? Oh, this must be a tough one.
Got everybody in the office, including the computer, stumped.
Now, it really fascinates me.
There it is.
Looks like letters cut from a magazine.
Right so far.
Well, like in a ransom note? Is that what it is?
We've no idea. It was found in Brock's office, addressed to me.
Scorpio. I mean, that doesn't give us much to go on.
Well, we figure all the letters are there for whatever Brock was trying to say.
Well, can't the computer figure it out?
It's only programmed to deal with legitimate codes. I've got a few guys in the office working on it, but they haven't got enough time to devote to it.
Well, this is impossible.
Well, you don't think you can do it?
Well, no, I mean, it seems like such a tedious task for someone.
That's what most detective work is, my dear. Very rarely do we get our teeth stuck into a nice, juicy adventure.
And I'm not detective enough for those.
Well, I mean, if you were a true connoisseur of detecting work, and all the facets of it, as you say you are, then... Oh, maybe it's just too difficult for you, I don't know.
Oh, all right. Hit my ego where it hurts. I'm going to solve this damn anagram before anybody else does in your office.
I hope you do.
Just one thing, though. What's the reward?
The reward?
Yes.
Virtue is its own reward.
It's not good enough.
All right. What if I told you the right name here could lead us to the killer?
Well, I'd say that's enough of a reward for me.
Hello.
Bobby?
Yes.
It's Robert Scorpio here. Look, nobody's answering in Terry's room. Is she there?
Yes, she is, Robert. It's Commissioner Scorpio for you. Sorry. Hello?
Terry, look, I'd like you to give us an official statement today in my office. I'll send one of my officers over to pick you up.
Would you repeat your answer?
All of it?
Your voice kept dropping. I'm having a hard time hearing your full answers.
I'm doing the best I can.
I'm trying to do mine, too, but she has to speak up.
Why don't I simply repeat the question? Now look, in your own normal speaking voice, and I know this is difficult, but try not to be nervous. All right, Terry, tell me. How many times did you hear the gun go off?
Oh, I didn't. I didn't. I never saw the gun go off. I saw the fight. I saw Daddy waving the gun in his hand, but I never saw the gun go off. Now, if Bobby said
Wait
so,
a minute. Wait a minute. Now, I want to know what you saw yourself.
All right.
Let's go back to what happened on the stairs. Now, you say it was a while before you went into the penthouse.
Yes.
What delayed you?
Well, I couldn't get out. All the doors in the stairway were locked.
Wait a minute. There's a fire door there. They're never supposed to be locked.
I don't know.
All right. So,
I don't know about any fire door.
so you're on the stairs.
Yes.
Then what?
Well, then I came up to the penthouse and knocked on the door, and there was no answer. So I went around to the back, and the door was ajar.
Now, did you enter immediately, or did you wait? Can't you remember?
Well, I was scared. You see, Bobby took a lot from Daddy. Daddy had a terrible temper, and there was a lot of fighting.
Okay. Now, I just want you to answer the question. Now, I know this is difficult, but just do the best you can. I want you to tell me the truth.
Yes, I saw Bobby holding the gun, and Daddy was on the floor, dead.
Okay, Terry. That'll be all for now.
Excuse me, Commissioner.
Yeah. We've finished with the statement here.
Well, I wouldn't bother you, but this is very important.
You can go now, Terry. The officer that brought you will take you back. Just tell the clerk that you're ready. What's all this?
Robert, there's someone here who says he has to talk to you about Brock's murder.
Who is it?
He won't tell me anything. You want me to show him in?
Why not?
Right. Would you come in, please?
Commissioner Scorpios?
Who are you?
I'm Stuart Miller, D.L. Brock's lawyer. That is, I was Brock's New York lawyer. I have something for you.
What is it?
Something you'll be very interested in hearing.
Well, for all the reasons that I have listed, if I should die by foul play, you can look to two people. My wife, Bobby Brock, and her lover, Rick Weber. They are to blame.
Beyond receiving this tape in the mail, do you know anything else that may help us solve this murder?
Nothing at all, except I am aware that Brock had a lot of enemies.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing this tape by. I may need to talk to you again.
Great. My card.
Well, what do you know?
Boy, that work's just starting, Bert.
It's just starting, but where do we start first?
All right. The apartment manager of Brock's building. Get him in here for some questions. Terry said that lobby door was locked. I want to know why.
Well, what about Rick Weber and Bobby?
Get them both in here as soon as possible.
Yeah. Yes, this is Dr. Weber. Yes, operator. Patch me through, please.
Rick, it's Robert Scorpio.
Robert, what can I do for you?
I'd like to see you as soon as possible. How's your time?
I'm free right now.
Good. Could you come down to headquarters immediately?
That urgent?
Yeah. It's about Brock.
Hello?
Is that you, Bobby?
Hello, Robert.
You're going to have to come down to my office immediately.
Oh, Robert, can it wait? Terry just got back, and I really...
This can't wait. Something of vital importance has come up.
I certainly don't want to overstep the boundaries of protocol.
There's no need to tiptoe around this, Jenny. You want an extra edge in this investigation for your station. Am I right?
More or less.
Yeah, but more is preferable, right?
More if it's available.
Well, in a murder investigation like this one, there's your normal run-of-the-mill information. However, there are certain out-of-the-ordinary elements starting to surface.
I see.
But it's early yet. We've just begun.
I understand. I understand you've got your procedures to follow. Believe me, I do understand the legalities of the whole procedure.
Not that I don't have some discretion.
Well, thanks anyway. I guess if I have to join the pool of small press people, I can deal with it.
Scratching for crumbs like the rest, huh?
I can live with it. It's all right. Commissioner, thank you for letting me put in my pitch, though.
Ginny, I have to say that I like the way you work.
Thank you.
And you know, this might be interesting.
What's that?
Working with you on this one. My rules, of course.
Of course.
You would be privy to certain things that came up.
Uh-huh.
Things that would have to remain off the record, you understand?
Of course. And with that kind of perspective, it could give me a good jumping-off point for some background stories.
Right. Exactly where you'd have the edge on the rest. Like, for example, I have to interview a group of people today who had business dealings with D.L. Brock.
Oh, I'd like to get my hands on that list.
Yeah, well, it includes you. These people didn't exactly consider D.L. Brock their man of the year.
Yeah, well, I guess it's quite a list then.
True.
You know, Commissioner, now that I think about it, on second thought, I don't think it's a good idea for me to be involved in my own on-the-air show.
All right, then. Well, what about the scene of the crime?
What about it?
Well, we're opening up D.L. Brock's penthouse today and sealing it. You could have your cameras there. As a matter of fact, what are you off for time today? The coroner's report is due through this afternoon. Or maybe, why don't you leave now, come back in a few hours. That'll be it.
Sounds perfect.
Be a good start for you.
All right. Thanks, Commissioner. Rick, what are you doing here?
I don't know. Bobby's in the dark as much as I am.
Listen, I don't understand.
Robert asked us to come down. Please, don't worry.
Please sit down.
What's going on, Robert?
That's my question, too. Why are we here?
Something I want you both to listen to.
Rick Weber and my wife not only were together as I've described every chance they got at the hospital, but brazenly carried on their relationship in public. I've walked into the hospital cafeteria and found them openly embracing, for example. Also under the pretense of shopping for a jacket for me, my wife bought clothes for Dr. Weber as a gift. I found them at Wyndham's department store on one occasion. The look on Bobby's face when I walked in was one of pure guilt that she'd been discovered, and her...
This is outrageous, Robert! Nothing on that tape is true!
I know that, and you know that.
Brock knew that, too. Robert, he had to be out of his mind.
I don't think you have to convince Robert.
Look,
Please, let's listen to the rest of the tape, all right?
But to anyone who saw her, the list goes on. To the long list of incidents, to final notes. On New Year's Eve, Bobby and Rick spent the night together at the Weber home, while Mrs. Weber and their son Mike were out of town. This love affair not only poisoned my marriage, but my own relationship with my daughter Terry. Bobby and Rick conspired to keep me away from her when Terry was severely ill and confined to the hospital. There was no doubt that they wanted me out of the picture, were determined to bring this about. I am deeply afraid that Bobby and Rick will go to any lengths to clear the way for their relationship to continue. And so, for all the reasons that I have listed, if I should die by foul play, you can look to two people, my wife, Bobby Brock, and her lover, Rick Weber. They are to blame.
Robert, I don't believe this, and I don't think you can allow any kind of credence to this at all. It's insane.
Bobby, I'd like you to stay. Rick, you can go now.
I prefer to wait for Bobby, thank you.
Please, bear with me.
Robert, you know him.
Go on.
He was crazy. He wanted to ruin people. I mean, it was like a career with him. I mean, you know the way he was when he tried to ruin Rick, when Delise closed down. And he was so angry at Luke. I wasn't allowed to mention Luke's name around the house. Robert, your hair would stand on end if I told you about the people that he tried to ruin. The way he would lose his temper at the slightest little thing.
Bobby, come on now. Calm down.
I can't. There is nothing on that tape that is true.
Were you with Rick on each of those occasions?
So what? You don't believe Brock's distortions, do you? Robert, do you?
Look, let's set aside the tape for the moment, huh?
What's next?
Well, you're going to go home and get some rest.
I don't believe this is happening to me.
Bobby, can I give you some of my best advice?
Sure.
Get yourself a lawyer. A damn good lawyer. Brock shooting stumps police. Yes.
Someone here to see you.
I'm in no fit state to receive anyone.
Your wife?
Okay. She's the one person who's seen me worse than this.
I heard that, Robert. What makes you so angry?
Oh, these damned headlines.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Well, not that I'm unhappy to see you, but what you doing here? I could use a cool hand on my forehead.
Well, then you shall have one. I had some errands nearby, and whenever I'm nearby, I cannot resist the temptation just to stop in and say hello.
Did you read the story that went with the headlines?
Yes, they are pushing, aren't they?
I tell you one thing. I will not arrest Bobby until I'm sure.
Can I ask you a terrible question?
Did Bobby kill Brock? I don't know. But if she didn't, who did? I mean, let's face it, there are a lot of people that didn't like Brock. Hated the guy, in fact. But I can't trace any leads to them. I don't know of anybody that hated him enough to want to snuff him out.
Perhaps when I figure out that anagram, it'll give you something.
How you going with it?
Well, I've made some progress. Do you want to hear?
Not until you've got it all done. What I want is some solid, tangible evidence. Evidence that'll hopefully lead me in another direction, away from Bobby.
Nothing at all so far?
I've got a lot of unanswered questions, like where's the third bullet out of this gun? But unanswered questions aren't evidence.
I have to go and see Bobby. I want to make sure that she knows I'm her friend, even though my husband is the police commissioner.
Who also happens to be a friend.
But your hands are rather tied, aren't they? Mine aren't. She's still at the Port Charles Hotel?
Well, the coroner released Brock's body today. She's probably at a funeral home making arrangements.
I'll check.
I'd like to go with you. But I'm meeting Ramsey at Brock's penthouse, where it's going to be unsealed today and then temporarily handed back to Bobby.
Temporarily?
I'd only say this to you. Right now, it doesn't look very good for Bobby. You know, this is one of those times when I would rather be anything but a policeman. All right. Brock was shot from about here, right?
Yeah, I think so. If Bobby and Brock did struggle, that's about where she would have fallen.
But she was knocked out.
She said.
Well, she came to from behind the desk here.
She said.
All right, that's what she said. That's what must have happened. Besides, it just doesn't square with what Terry said in her statement.
Now, Terry said that she found Bobby kneeling down beside Brock's body with a gun in her hand.
Yeah.
All right, it squares with me. When Brock knocked her down, she grabbed the gun, fired. Then she came over to see if Brock was dead, still holding the gun.
Yeah, but she was suffering from concussion.
Oh, come on, Robert. You know as well as I do that a concussion doesn't always knock people out. Look at the doctor's report. He said it wasn't even a severe concussion.
You ever try reading between the lines?
No, not in my racket.
Do it sometime.
Oh, come on, you now. That's just guesswork.
It can also be called creative thinking.
Why don't you take a look at the facts? Bobby's story is too neat. It's a cover. She conveniently gets knocked on the head, is unconscious. Somebody else comes into this apartment and shoots Brock. Come on, no.
I'll tell you what's convenient.
What?
It was most convenient for a third party to walk in that door, see Brock alone, pump a slug into him, then leave. You ever think about that?
Who?
Whoever has the third bullet in them.
Look, we have checked every hospital, every emergency clinic within 100 miles of Port Charles, asking if anyone showed up with a bullet from a .38 caliber gun in them. And you know what the answer is? No one.
Where's that third bullet?
I don't know. Hey, here's an idea. Maybe at the beginning of the fight, Brock got so hot under the collar that he just went over here and he opened up these terrace doors, and that's where the third bullet went. How do you like that?
In January, he opens the doors for fresh air?
Sure, why not?
You're forgetting the statements of the two women who maintained the terrace doors had never been opened.
Well, maybe one of them closed the doors and just doesn't remember it.
So now who's guessing?
Tell me something. Why didn't Bobby say that she shot Brock in self-defense?
Because she never killed him.
Robert, I tell you, we're getting nowhere.
No, you've closed your mind.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Fair enough.
Our job is to find evidence. The DA's job is to evaluate that evidence. Then the grand jury's job is to evaluate the case that the district attorney brings to them, and then the grand jury will decide whether or not Bobby Brock is indicted for murder.
You're saying we're low person on the totem pole?
Not low, not high. That's just procedure.
What's the point of procedure if the right person isn't brought to justice?
Now, that rarely happens, and you know it.
I'm not about to have Bobby Brock be one of those rare instances. All right, what do we got here? We finished?
It's all wrapped up for me.
I'm going to turn the place back over to Bobby.
Well, I'll get the guy outside to come in and pick up all this tape.
He was a strange peanut, this one.
Yeah. You know, if Bobby did kill Brock, I wonder if she has the guts to come back here and live.
We must have asked Jake to represent her. He should be in town by now.
Oh, he is. His secretary told me he went over to see Bobby.
You contact him for me?
All right, and tell him that Bobby has permission to go back to the penthouse?
Yeah.
Well, I'll catch up with him someplace. You know, it'd be very interesting to catch Bobby's reactions when she goes back to that penthouse.
I'm not interested in exploiting anyone's grief. Guilty or innocent. Come in.
Here's the updated Prince report on the murder, guy.
Thank you.
Well?
Identifiable but smudged.
Brock's print and Bobby's.
Not unexpected. I mean, Bobby did handle the gun. Smudged. Why? Smudged.
Well, just go back to the report.
Smudged is in the report, too.
The important thing, Robert, is that we now have solid evidence. This should go right to the DA.
I'm not ready to turn over any of the evidence just yet.
What?
Too many things don't add up.
Well, Robert, you're dragging your feet. Why?
I am not moving until I've built up an incontrovertible body of evidence.
I think you have it now.
Yes.
Mr. Silva and Mrs. Hawkins are here.
Have them come in. Listen, I want to talk to him before you take the statements.
Silver's the salesman who waited on Bobby at Wyndham's.
Yeah, Mrs. Hawkins was just another customer.
Now, come in, please. This is Commissioner Scorpio. I'm Captain Ramsey. You spoke to me on the phone.
Mrs. Hawkins, Mr. Silver, please have a seat.
Thank you.
I wasn't involved, you know. I just happened to be there.
I understand that. Now, Captain Ramsey here will take your statements, but I want to sort of skip around that and get right to the bone of the matter.
Well, when Mr. Brock found Mrs. Brock with Dr. Weber, he made a terrible scene, and, well, I had to call the security officers.
Wait.
And she screamed, I could kill you.
Oh. Now, hang on. Let's go back a little bit here. What was Mrs. Brock doing in the men's department?
She was buying a jacket for her husband, and, well, she couldn't make up her mind which. And then Dr. Weber arrived.
Where did Dr. Weber come from?
Well, the boys' department. He bought a jacket for his son. Well, at least that's what he said.
Did he have a package with him?
Yes.
So what he said was true, right?
Yes.
Got to be careful what we say here, Mr. Silver. I mean, the meeting was, after all, accidental.
Yes.
And Mr. Brock was under the impression that their meeting was of a secretive nature, so to speak.
Well, yeah. You see, she was holding a jacket up against Dr. Weber, and then he came in like a bat out of hell.
He was like a crazy man.
Yeah, he accused them of terrible things, and, well, he wanted to fight. That's when I went for the guards.
Tell me, when did Mrs. Brock say, I could kill you to her husband?
Right in the middle of it.
Well, she was just trying to stop her husband from fighting.
I see. Okay, look, if you can just wait outside now, Captain Ramsey will be with you shortly.
Listen, we did do the right thing to tell you this.
Yes.
Mr. Brock seemed like a terrible man, but I don't hold with murder.
Neither do we, I assure you.
Now what's your excuse for not going to the DA?
Oh, Holly. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, Holly.
Jake, Ruby. Terry, I'm so sorry.
We're so glad you came.
Jake, you're going to see that Bobby's all right, aren't you?
I'll do my best.
Robert would have been here if he could.
Holly is a family friend, Terry.
Is it Mrs. Scorpio?
Yes, but I think you should know that my husband thinks as much of Bobby as I do. Does that reassure you a little?
He was very kind to me when, I had to say the things I did.
Everything's going to be straightened out. Bobby, if there's ever a moment where you need me for anything, please don't hesitate. I'm just Holly for you, not the commissioner's wife or anything.
Thank you.
I'll never forget how you and Ruby stood by me when we all thought that Luke had been killed in that avalanche.
And that all worked out.
And this is all going to work out, too.
Mrs. Brock,
Yes?
if you wish to go in, the casket's in place.
Terry? Terry, I know you're not ready for this. None of us are. Jake? All right, we're gonna give you a few minutes, all right? I'll go in first.
Go ahead.
I can use a minute alone.
Yeah,
Mrs. Scorpio is here, and may I go home?
by all means. Holly?
I had a feeling you'd forgotten the time. Come to scoop you up and take you out to dinner.
How's Bobby?
Quite wonderful. Brave and strong.
Yeah. She's going to need all of that. I haven't been working for the last hour. I've been brooding.
About Bobby?
Evidence is piling up against her, higher and higher.
Robert, you don't think she's guilty?
What I think and what is solid, hard evidence are two different things altogether.
But you wouldn't arrest her.
The DA's breathing down my neck. In fact, we can't have dinner. I'm due in for a meeting with him.
There must be something you can do to put him off.
All I've got going for me is unanswered questions. He's going to come thundering through that door with a bag full of hard evidence going for him.
Well, I know you're doing everything you can.
I'm stuck with believing Bobby.
You're not stuck with it at all. You're a compassionate man. That's something completely different. That's one of the many reasons why I love you so much.
Bobby's in trouble.
And you care about people who are in trouble?
Okay. I'll keep trying to stall.
Look at the evidence I've got on Bobby Brock, Commissioner.
You're moving too fast.
Listen, it's all there, enough to go to trial.
No.
Give me good, solid reasons why not.
I got questions. Brock was on the warpath the night he died. Why? There was a third slug fired out of his gun. Where is it?
Any answers to those questions?
No.
Well, I have facts, Robert. Incriminating facts. There's Terry Brock's sworn statement that she saw her stepmother with gun in hand kneeling beside Brock's body. And as you know, there were traces of nitrate gunpowder on Bobby's hands, and her fingerprints were on the gun. Then there's Brock's cassette tape recording of him accusing Bobby and Rick Weber of planning to kill him. I also read the statement from the two witnesses from Wyndham's department store who overheard Mrs. Brock say to her husband, "I could kill you."
That's all circumstantial.
I know my law, Robert. I can take this case to the grand jury right now, and I am positive that I have enough evidence to indict Bobby for murder.